Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hello, friends. Welcome to the pod. This is Paul, your host, and today I want to talk to you about birds. It's taken me a while to record this one, and the whole reason it's taken me so long is because every time I get out in the field trying to record, I can't do it. And the reason is it's always been either really noisy around me, or if I find a nice place where I can go where it's quiet and we can hear the birds calling. It's a windy day. We've had a lot of rain. The temperatures have been getting colder, which doesn't bother me too much. But so anyhow, I decided if I'm going to get this one done, I got to get in the studio. So unfortunately, it's that time of year where I'm headed back into the studio. And I'm going to try to get out every once in a while. But today, I want to talk about birds. Have you been listening to the birds lately? Yeah, not as many around. Most of them are already headed south if you live in the Northeast. If you live in the southern part of the U.S., you probably are hearing a lot of the birds because you're getting all of our guys who decided, hey, it's too cold, can't find food, let's head south. But real interesting listening to birds. I always love just sitting in a nice quiet place outdoors and listening to the birds. One of the reasons I like getting up early in the morning during the summer is I like to just go outside with a cup of tea and just listen to the birds singing with no other distractions, no noise around. And the birds, I mean, they have such beautiful songs, but maybe you don't know why they're singing. I mean, why do birds sing? How do they sing? I mean, obviously they sing with their voice, but it's a very interesting tool that they have in their throat that helps them sing. And I'm going to delve into all of that stuff. But first of all, why do birds sing? You may be wondering that. Is it just for our enjoyment? I like to think it is, but no, it's not. There's more to it than that. The reason that birds sing is, well, there's multi-reasons. There's a lot of different reasons. One of the most important things is attracting a mate. Most of the time when you are hearing a bird sing, they are actually the males who are singing. Now, some females do sing, but it's mostly the males because they're trying to impress those female birds out there, trying to say, hey, look at me. I'm the most beautiful thing and I sing beautifully. I'm ready to raise a family. So that's why they're singing. The main reason, attracting a mate. And it's, like I said, mostly males. Now, they also sing to defend territory. When there's a predator around, whether it's a mammal or another bird, maybe it's another species of bird or the same species of bird. They're trying to say, hey, this is my territory. This is my area. You go somewhere else. So they're actually defending their territory, making sure that no one else comes into it. Another reason is communication. Yeah, they're just talking to the other birds. Hey, there's danger in the woods. You may want to get out of here. Warnings. Now, it's not really a song, and I'll get into this in a little while about the difference between a call and a song. Yeah, there is a difference with bird calls and bird songs. But if you hear that chit, 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 when you're walking through the woods, that's a bird telling all the other birds, hey, there's a human here. You may want to head for cover. You may want to get out of here because this human, he's pretty big. We don't know if he's friendly or not. So that's what that chit noise is. So it's a warning. And they also, scientists think, another reason that birds sing is to express happiness or other emotions. So if it's a beautiful day, the sun's shining, it's nice and warm, that's when the bird's going to sing. He's like, yeah, what a great day. So these are the main reasons why birds sing. Now, 2/5 of all bird species are in the order passi. Maybe you've heard the term passerines. Okay, passerines are the true songbirds. Songbirds do the singing. So the other birds, like a turkey vulture, he's not a passerine. He doesn't sing. Actually, they don't do much of anything except grunting. A bird of prey, when you hear them calling with that loud scream, if it's a red-tailed hawk or other, it sounds almost like a song. It's not really a song, it's more of a call. So it's the true songbirds who do the singing. So 3/5 of all birds don't sing. 2/5 are passerines, and they're the ones who are singing. And I'm not talking 2/5 of all birds. I'm talking 2/5 of all bird species, so types of birds. So it's the songbirds doing all that singing. Non-songbirds, they make other sounds that are more, they're instinctual instead of learned. Yeah, songs are learned. The other calls or sounds that birds are making, the non-songbirds, those are more instinctual. Okay, it's their instinct to make these calls. True songbirds, they learn their songs from adults. So from the day they're born, they're actually listening to their parents singing these songs. The adult parent birds are the ones who teach the young. Here's a song. Hey, here's a song to attract a mate. Here's the song that we sing. Here's the song if you want to fool another bird. Yeah, there are some birds who they will actually call and use other bird songs, like the mockingbird. Mockingbird, they confuse me all the time because it's like, wait a minute, I thought I heard a catbird, but now I'm hearing a robin coming from the exact same place. Oh, now I'm hearing another bird coming from that same place. Yeah, it's usually the mockingbirds. So they are imitators. But there can also, really interesting with these songs, there can be regional dialects. So you may have cardinals in one area who sing a beautiful song, and then you go down south and you hear another cardinal. It's like, wait a minute, that cardinal doesn't sound exactly the same. And scientists have actually taken recordings of the different species of birds around the country, compared them, and realized that, oh, yeah, they're not the same. They have their own dialects. It's kind of like with people. You know, if you're down south, yeah, talk a little bit different than us northerners here. You know, if you're from England, you sound a little bit different. We're all humans. We're all the same species, but we have different accents, dialects. And that's why songbirds do too. Now, there is a difference, as I said, between calls and songs. Songs are more structured, and they also last longer, whereas calls, much shorter. Like I was talking about those chits, chit, 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 that's a call. Now, I said that non-songbirds do the calls, but songbirds call too. They can do both calls and songs. Have you ever heard a drumming noise in the woods? I'm not talking about a woodpecker drumming against a tree. Yeah, that is a drumming, but I'm talking about from the voice, from the bird itself. There's some field species who do that drumming. It sounds like it's really hard to describe it. Well, it sounds like a drumming. And that is a call, not a song. Now, I was always told that it's the males who do all the singing to impress the females, and I even said that at the beginning of the podcast. Well, the truth is, both males and females do the singing. In most temperate zones, okay, a true temperate zone, the females do the calls and the males do the singing. The opposite happens in tropical zones. So when I was telling everybody all these years, I told them, yeah, the males are doing the singing, just like I did at the beginning of the podcast. It's true for my region. But if you go down to tropical areas, you go to around the equator, you go towards South America, you're going to find that it's the females that are doing the singings and the males are doing the calls. So it flip-flops. by where you are. So temperate zones, males are singing. The females do the singing in tropical zones. Now, many species in the tropics actually engage in duetting, where the male and female sing. They will sing to each other. They will sing together. They believe it's to help strengthen the bond between the mated pair. So pretty interesting how, depending on where you live, depends on who you're hearing call, who's doing the singing, whether it's the male or the female. Now, there are some birds, as I mentioned earlier, mockingbirds, also catbirds, and thrashers. Those guys, they actually learn to mimic other species or non-bird sounds. So sometimes they're doing calls, sometimes they're doing the songs of the other birds, and sometimes they have recordings. It's really hilarious to listen to. Some of these birds will mimic other sounds, non-bird sounds. I heard one once that was imitating a chainsaw, and I could swear it was an actual chainsaw, but no, it was the bird doing it because they showed the bird doing it. It must have learned it from loggers who were in the woods, and they heard the chainsaw all day, and all of a sudden it's like they started repeating it. That's what they do. They mimic sounds. So Google it. Yeah, go on YouTube, Google it. You're going to see some of the funniest songs or calls or these sounds that they're imitating. Human sounds, human machines that they're imitating. It's hilarious. So yeah, Google it. You'll enjoy listening to it. Now, one of the things that makes these songs so beautiful almost sounds like a melody. It sounds like there's more than one bird singing, is because of the design of the throat. Yeah, the design of the throat allows more than one sound to happen at once. So at the same time. Humans can't do that. Most animals can't do that. They can only make one sound at a time. But birds, they can actually make more than one sound at the same time. In their throat, they have what's called the syrinx. S-Y-R-I-N-X, the syrinx. It's their voice box. It's located right between the bronchi and the trachea. So it's right in the middle of those two. Now, inside the syrinx, we have what's called the labia. Okay, and the labia is vibrating tissue, which allows the bird to make two sounds at once. So the labia are vibrating in there, and the way that they vibrate, they can make one sound and then another sound. And it's not one after the other. They're both happening right at the same time. Now, each side of the syrinx is independently controlled. That allows the formation of two different tones. So this syrinx is just like a magic voice box. It does so much that other animals can't, and that's what creates all these beautiful calls that sound like it's kind of like a beautiful two birds duet singing together because of these two sounds. So when you're in the woods or out in the field or in your backyard and you hear these beautiful calls, listen closely, and you're going to start noticing that there's actually two sounds coming out at the same time. Now, I was asked once, he says, well, when's the best time to hear the birds? Well, like I said, I've been trying to get a good outdoor recording in a location where I can hear a lot of birds, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to. That's why I'm in the studio. But when I went outside, it was always in the morning, because that's the best time to hear birds. That's when they're most active. It's what we call the dawn chorus. Now, I'd love to give you a whole bunch of information about the dawn chorus and why birds are so noisy in the morning, but scientists don't even know. I researched a lot on this, trying to figure out, okay, why are they singing mostly in the morning? What's up with the dawn chorus? And I kept reading all these scientists saying, hey, we don't know. We have no clue. We have theories, but we don't know for sure. I mean, part of it, one of the theories was that they believe that the birds are more active in the morning because it's cooler in the morning during the summer. There's fewer predators out. The predators at night have gone to bed already. So they get everything done in the morning so that they can hide away in the woods during the day, the hot part of the day, when the predators are more active. And yeah, that's the theory, one of them. But there's other theories too. And no one really knows for sure. That's the theory that holds up the best. That's why I told you that one and not the other theories. Because the other theories that I was reading, it's like, that just doesn't make sense. So, but this is why they do the dawn chorus. No one really knows. Now, I also get asked a lot, how do I learn to ID birds by songs? Maybe you can. I can identify quite a few birds by their call without seeing them. A lot of people, though, it's like, oh, I have to wait till they come to my bird feeder. I have to see them or I have no clue who it is. Other people, I have a friend who's really good with bird calls. But I asked him, I says, well, how'd you get so good? And he says, well, I refresh my memory every spring. Because in Western New York here, we don't see a lot of these birds during the winter time. So we have to depend a lot on our ID during the summer. And he just listens to tapes. I mean, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. I learned my ID calls from listening to the birds. I used to have a CD. Yes, I'm aging myself. I used to have a CD that I would play in my car every day as I went to work. I would play it in the morning, usually in the spring. Once again, refreshing the memory from the winter of not seeing and hearing many birds. But I would listen to it all the time. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what that sounds like. Now, I used to do that. Then I started to do, and I still do now, I just watch the birds and I listen as I'm watching them. And if I hear a call, I try to spot who's making that call. Or if I don't know for sure, then I look it up online. There's a lot of good guides out there now for bird calls. Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Yeah, go to their website. If you're trying to learn how to identify birds by their call, best place to go. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology website. They've got a great library of calls. So anyhow, that's the best way to do it, is just listen and watch. That's how I did it. Okay. You can watch the birds, try to figure out where the call's coming from. Get your binoculars out if they're far away. Best thing to do is at your bird feeders. It's like, oh, so I've got goldfinch on my bird feeder, and they're the ones doing that beautiful high-pitched call. So that's how you learn them. Practice. Always practice, practice, practice. Well, we've almost come to the end. I want to wrap up with, unfortunately, little sad news. What I would call the silencing of the song. Yeah, because approximately 40% of all birds have disappeared over the past 50 years. Yeah, there's a 40% decline in birds in the past 50 years, mostly due to habitat loss, predation, climate change, pesticides. All of these things have affected birds. I hope you can help them out, and you may be wondering, well, how am I going to help the birds out? Well, first of all, predation. It's not just other animals. It's cats, too. If you're a cat owner, that's fine. You love your cats, but keep them indoors. They do not belong outdoors. And yes, I've said that to people before, and I get a lot of backlash about it. It's like, well, it's natural for them to be out there. No, it isn't. They're not a natural outdoor animal. They belong indoors. Cats kill a lot of animals, a lot of birds when they're outdoors. And it's not healthy for the cat either. I mean, I recall talking to one of my vets many years ago, and he was going through a series of rabies shots at the time because he got a feral cat brought in to the clinic, and he was getting all the shots, checking it over because the person wanted to keep it as a pet, and it ended up that it bit him, and he had to get tested for the rabies and get the shots for it, and it was a mess. But the cat ended up having to be put down because it did test positive for rabies, and it was a big mess anyhow. So it's safer for the cats to be indoors. It's safer for the birds. So keep your cats indoors. I'm going to get off my soapbox because I'm sorry, it's a big issue with me seeing cats outdoors. Window collisions during the day and at nighttime. Birds don't know what glass is. They can't see glass. To them, they think they can fly right through it. So during the day, if you have a big picture window, try to put something on it. They make these decals that you can put on, and it makes it so that the bird can see that that's where it is. Put stripes on your sliding glass door. Use some tape, put stripes on, put anything to make it so that the birds can see it so that they don't run into it. And even at nighttime, some birds migrate at night. Some birds move at night. And if they can't see that window because it looks like it's dark and there's nothing there, well, they're going to run into it. So it's a big problem for them. Also, you can avoid pesticides. Yeah, if you spray your yard with pesticides, your garden with pesticides, stop. Yeah, come up with a better alternative. And that's a whole nother episode for me, but come up with a different alternative. And the final thing that I'd like to talk about is creating habitat. My old house, just about every year I kept reducing the size of my lawn. I mowed less. I mean, part of it was because I got so tired of sitting on that lawnmower. I got so tired of spending an hour and a half mowing the lawn. I actually, by the time we moved out last summer, I think it only took me about 45 minutes to mow the lawn. Yeah, I kept cutting our lawn down in size. Keep things natural if you can. Provide more habitat. Put up bird boxes, bird houses, bird feeders. Give them a place that's conducive to a healthy habitat for a bird. So those are things that you can do to help. Now, because I didn't want to end on a sad note with the problem with them disappearing, but I will finish with the good news. There are still a lot of birds out there. They're still beautiful, and their songs are still beautiful. So get out, even in the wintertime. They're still around in the Northeast here, not as many, but you can get out in the woods, get out in the fields, get out in nature, get away from the noise of society and listen. And the bird songs are so relaxing. They're so beautiful. You're going to hear more songs in the summer, in the spring, and that's because, like I said, they're mostly mating calls. But in the wintertime, they're still making sounds. They're still doing their calls now and then. So get outside. Enjoy listening to them. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed learning about the birds and why they call and how they call, and that beautiful thing called the syrinx that allows them to have those beautiful calls. Go on to some of the websites I mentioned and listen to, I'll try to leave a link in the show notes if I remember, to the bird call on the Lab of Ornithology, Cornell. But anyhow, if you want to support the podcast, I'd really appreciate it. Part of all donations does go to planting trees. So go to my Ko-Fi page. Links are in the show notes. Also, hey, it's that time of year. Yeah, the holidays are coming. You're probably sitting there like I am. What am I going to get this person? Yeah, don't you always have at least one or two people on your list who's that tough person to buy for? They have everything, or you just don't have a clue what they really want? Well, go to the Nature Wanderer merch store. Yeah, you'll find something there. I have t-shirts, sweatshirts, all sorts of things, even for the dogs. Yeah, for the pets. So go to the merch store. The link is in the show notes. Or if you have someone who loves wandering through nature like I do, get them a nature journal so they can start journaling their wanderings. The links to that is also in the show notes. And, support the podcast if you can. I really appreciate it. Have a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday. Christmas is coming up. So, Chris, I'll be talking to you before then. But Have a great day, and above all, keep exploring the nature around you. Did you know that plastic is made with oil, a fossil fuel that pollutes the environment? And did you know that only about 15% of all plastic is recycled into new products? Wouldn't it be awesome if we could live our lives without plastic so that we could stop harming the planet? Well, there's a company that wants to help you do just that. Life Without Plastic sells products that will reduce or eliminate your dependence on plastic. They have a large selection from toothbrushes to food storage containers to drinking straws, all plastic free. And it's reasonably priced. So what are you waiting for? Check out all these great plastic-free products and help save the planet. Just click on the link in the show notes to find out more and to start your journey to being plastic-free.